Hi, good morning to one and all. Myself, A. Ramanjanelu. Today onwards, I am going to start the Unit 3, that is deflection of beams. Okay, in previous chapter we discussed about shear force and bending moment diagrams for different types of beams, and second part bending stresses, and third part shear stresses in the beams. Okay. Here the shear stresses and bending stresses are formed due to the loads applied on the beam. Similarly, due to the applied loads, the bending moment will affect the beam. Due to the bending moment, the beam will get deformed. Okay. Due to that deformation, the length of the straight beam is converted into some curvature. Okay. We have to measure the distance of a deflected portion of a beam to the undeflected portion at any point of the beam. That length is known as deflection. The deflection of a beam due to the application of bending moment. Okay, coming to introduction of the beam, deflection of beams, that is, beams are very common structural elements used to span distance because the beams are used to support the loads in the structural elements, okay, like vehicles, civil structures, bridges, buildings, etc. Okay, they carry loads transverse, that means perpendicular loads to the longitudinal axis. Okay, the predominant effect of lateral loads on the beams are bending moments and shear force. Due to the effect of lateral loads, the bending moment and shear forces are developed. Okay. In previous chapter, we studied that the stresses produced by the bending moment, and that stresses means bending stresses and shear stresses. Okay. In this chapter, we shall study the deformation produced by the bending moment is known as deflection. Okay, under the action of lateral loads, the beam bends. We generally represents the beam by its centroidal axis. Therefore, when beam bends, it is the centroidal axis that bends. Okay, the bend shape of the centroidal axis, which is initially straight, is known as elastic curve. Okay, due to the application of force, what happened? The initial straight length is converted into some curvature. Due to this curvature, the deformation is formed. Okay, you have to measure the deflection at any point of the curve. Okay, the elastic curve is the shape taken by the longitudinal centroidal axis of the beam due to the bending. Okay, observe in this diagram, we already discussed that under the action of applied loads, the beam bends, and that vertical moment of a point on the elastic curve is called the deflection. Observe, it is the straight line represent the initial cross section of the beam. Due to the applied force, it is deflected. Due to the application of bending moment, what happened? It gets some deformation. Due to the deformation, the beam is bent into a curve shape. This curve shape is known as elastic curve. Suppose I consider a point in between the supports of a beam. The vertical distance from that point to the elastic curve is known as deflection. This vertical distance is known as deflection. Okay. Therefore, in a structure, the deformation considered are vertical deflections and slope at any point. That means the vertical deflection and slope at any point can be calculated. Okay, the shift of a point P on the longitudinal axis of the beam perpendicular to that axis is called the deflection. Okay, this one is the perpendicular distance to that axis, to the curvature. It is the cross section of the beam in 3-dimensional. It is the neutral axis. Okay, from this point to this point, you consider one longitudinal axis. It is parallel to the top and bottom surface. Okay, due to the application of bending moment, it is deflected. Okay, it is the deflected curve is known as elastic curve. Okay, from this point to this point is known as P to P dash is known as deflection. Next, we need to draw one tangent to the curve at a point P dash on the elastic curve. The angle between the original axis to that tangent is known as slope. Okay, where P dash is the deflection of the point P. Okay, next, the deflection at a point in a beam can be defined as the vertical deflection between the point on the undeflected axis and the corresponding point on the deflected axis is known as the deflection. Okay, it is the final deflection. The deflection at any point, at a point in a beam, can be defined as the vertical distances between the point on the undeflected axis and the corresponding point on the deflected axis. Okay, it is a point on the beam and it is a point P dash on a deflected curve. Okay, the vertical distance from point P to P dash is known as the deformation. Okay, similarly, we need to calculate the slope. We need to calculate slope. Okay, if we draw a tangent to the curve at a point P dash, the deflected position of P, the angle this tangent makes with original undeflected axis is known as the slope at point P. Therefore, the angle theta is the slope at point P. Here, finally the slope of a beam axis at a point is defined as the angle between the tangent to the elastic curve. Angle between the tangent to the elastic curve at that point and undeflected beam axis. Okay, observe, it is a point on the deflected curve. Okay, we drawn one tangent. Here the angle between tangent to the undeflected axis is known as slope. Okay, next we need to design the beam based on strength and stiffness, so that we design the beams based on the strength for both shearing and bending strength. Based on the shearing and bending strength, we will design the beams. Okay, generally in the bending equation in previous chapter we derived one relation based on for calculating the bending stresses, that is M by I is equals to sigma by Y is equals to E by R. Sometimes sigma may be written as F. Okay, while the first part deals with this strength, that is M by E deals with this strength, the second part considered itself with bending or flexural stiffness, that is F by Y. Okay, in design of strength, the actional moment is related to the permissible stress in the material. In design, the strength of the actional moment is related to the permissible stress, okay, in the material. This ensures that stresses due to the bending or shear stress within the permissible stress in the material, otherwise it may be failure. Okay, here in design for stiffness, it ensures that deformation in beam are limited. Okay, so that The design of beam directly limits the deflection as a fraction of span. In the stiffness equation, we know that m by I is equals to E by R. The external moment is related to within the curvature, that is 1 by R of the beam. From this equation, we can written as m is equals to EI by R, where EI is in the above equation. The term EI is known as flexural rigidity or flexural stiffness. Okay, based on this bending moment, we can calculate design the equation based on the strength. Okay, suppose we use this equation to arrive at the equation for the elastic curve. Okay, a large part of the deflection of the beam is due to only bending moment only. Deflection due to the shear are very small and usually neglected, so that mainly we will consider the bending moment forces for calculating the slope and deflection. Okay, coming to elastic curve. Elastic curve is a bent form of the longitudinal centroidal axis of the curve of the beam. Deflection and slope are measured at points on the elastic curve relative to the original unbent beam axis. Okay, already we know that elastic curve is nothing but it is the deflected portion of the beam due to the bending moment. Okay, that curve is known as elastic curve. On this elastic curve, we will calculate the slope and deflection. Okay, any curve is defined by the radius. Generally, we suppose if we have to draw the circle or arc based on the some angle or radius. Okay, any curve is defined by its radius at any point. Okay, in this case of elastic curve, the curvature changes from point to point. Okay, the curvature changes from point to point on the curve due to the variation of bending moment, because we know that from bending equation m by I is equals to E by R. Okay, where R equals to radius of curvature and E equals to Young's modulus, I equals to moment of inertia, m is equals to bending moment. Here Young's modulus and I value are not changed. Here only the bending moment will change based on the variation of load. If constant load is applied, there is no change in bending moment, so that the radius of curvature is also not changed. Okay, the radius of curvature of the deflected form of the beam is given by m by I equals to E by R. Suppose in this equation, if the radius of curvature changes due to the bending moment, okay, bending moment only. If bending moment is constant, the radius of curvature is also constant. Okay, now beam bending into a circular shape. Consider a beam AB of span L. Okay, subjected to a uniform bending moment M. Here AB is nothing but a beam, a simply supported beam. Okay, it is subjected to a uniform bending moment M, so that the bending moment is the member is bent into a circular shape. It is a circular shape, that is ADB. It is a circular shape developed due to the bending moment on the beam AB. Let R equals to radius of the bent form. Here R is nothing but from 0 to A or 0 to B or 0 to D or 0 to E. All are radius values from center to the radius of the curve. This is represented by capital R. Next, CD is nothing but deflection from this point to this point. C is a point on the length AB and D is the deflection point. Okay, here CD is nothing but deflection. It is represented by delta, that equals to deflection at the center of the beam. Next, coming to theta is equals to slope at the end. From the geometry, from here DC into CE CE is equals to, it can be written as AC into CB. We know that CD is nothing but delta, and C is nothing, it can be written as 2R minus delta. 2R means O to E and O to D is R plus R. It can be written as 2R minus CD. So that CE can be written as 2R minus delta. AC is equals to, AB is equals to L. AC is equals to half of the length, so that it can be written as L by 2 into L by 2. From this we can written as 2R delta minus delta square is equals to L square by 4. Okay. For particle beam, the deflection delta being very small, so that it can be ignored. From the above equation, it can be written as 2R delta is equals to L square by 4. From this equation, we can written as in the form of delta. Delta is equals to L square by 8R. 8R, it is the deflection formula. Okay, it can be written as delta is equals to L square by 8 into 1 by R. From bending equation, M by I equals to E by R. So that 1 by R can be written as M. 1 by R can be written as M by EI. So in place of 1 by R, we can written as delta is equals to ML square by 8 EI. It is the formula for deflection when a beam is subjected to uniform bending moment. Okay, it is the formula for deflection. Similarly, we need to calculate slope formula. We know that theta is equals to slope at the end. Slope at the point, and okay, we can find from the triangle AOC also equal to theta. Okay, from triangle sin theta is equals to, observe, from this triangle AOC, sin theta can be written as opposite by hypotenuse. Opposite is AC by AO. AC is L by 2 and AO is R. Okay, it can be written as L by 2 by R. Okay, therefore sin theta equals to L by 2 R. 1 by R we can written as M by EI. So that sin theta equals to ML by 2 EI. Since the angle theta is a very small quantity, so that sin theta can be written as theta radians. Okay, therefore finally theta is equals to ML by 2 EI radians. It is the slope for when a beam is subjected to uniform bending moment. Okay, next, now we calculated slope and deflection. Finally, we need to calculate differential equations of elastic curve. Consider a small element in the curvature of the beam. Okay, it is the O, center of the curvature. From O to R, it is the O to take one small element. It is the radius R, and P1 is the segment with an angle d theta. From P to P1 is arc segment, that is ds. If you draw from horizontal and vertical lines, that is dx and dy. Okay, the same angle will also here. Consider an elemental length. Okay, p dash is equals to ds on the elastic curve. Okay, that means on this elastic curve we'll select a small element, okay, with arc ds, okay, with radius r, where dx and dy are the distances along the x and y axis from P to P dash. Okay, as the distances ds is very small, so that it can consider as a straight line. From this triangle, ds square is equals to dx square plus dy square, dx square plus dy square. Let r is equals to radius of the curve, and d theta is equals to angle between the point P and P dash. Okay, similarly, then ds can be written as r d theta. Okay, so that ds can be calculated radius into angle. Radius is r and angle is d theta. So that ds is equals to, it can be written as r d theta. We know that ds square equals to dx square plus dy square. Square it can be converted into root. ds, in place of ds we can replace r d theta, so that root of dx square plus dy square. So it can be written as 1 by r d theta is equals to root of dx square plus dy square. We know that from triangle tan d theta equals to dy by dx. From this triangle d theta, that means tan d theta equals to opposite by hypotenuse. Opposite is dy and adjacent is dx. So that from the triangle d theta, tan d theta is equals to dy by dx. Okay, on differentiating the above equation, this equation will get tan d theta. If you differentiate this term, you will get secant square d theta into d theta, d square y by dx square into dx with respect to dx. Okay, secant square d theta can be written as 1 plus tan square d theta into d theta, so that d square y by dx square into dx. Okay, tan square d theta can be written as dy by dx. Tan d theta equals to dy by dx, so that in place of tan d theta can be written as dy by dx, so that 1 plus dy by dx whole square into d theta, that equals to d square by dx square into dx. So that this equation can be written as d theta equals to d square y by dx square by dx by 1 plus dy by dx whole square into d theta is here. Okay, from this equation we know that r d theta is equals to root of dx square plus dx square. It can be written as, in place of d theta, d square by, substitute d theta value in this equation, so that d square y by dx square into dx by 1 plus dy by dx whole square. Okay, it can be written as, if you get common dx on this term, 1 plus dy by dx whole square is equals to r into d square y by dx square into dx by 1 plus dy by dx whole square, so that 1 by r is equals to d square y by dx square by 1 plus dy by dx whole square into this term, it comes to denominator, root of 1 plus dy by dx whole square. Here from this equation 1 by r equals to d square y by dx square by 1 plus dy by dx whole square whole power 3 by 2, because it is for this term 1 by 2 in place of root 2. Okay, a power m into a power n, a power m plus n, by using that formula. Here 1 by 2 plus 1. Okay, so that it can be converted into whole power 3 by 2. Okay, the term dy by dx represents the slope of the curve and it is very small. Okay, therefore its square being further small, and the term 1 plus dy by dx whole square whole power 3 by 2 is neglecting. Okay, it can be taken as 1, therefore the curve expression reduces to, the curve expression is reduces to 1 by r is equals to d square by dx square. Okay, we know that m is equals to ei by r, m is equals to ei by r, so that m is equals to ei into d square by dx square. In place of 1 by r we can be written as d square y by dx square. It is the formula for bending moment. Next, evaluation of beam deflection and slope can be having three different methods, that is double integration method, Maclaurin's method and moment area method. Okay, these are the three different methods for calculating slope and deflection on different beams. Okay, next class we will discuss these methods. Okay, thanks for watching.